like to tell you the story of a 3,000-mile canoe trip. We just kind of took off on this thing and didn't really know everything about what we were getting into. Trying to stay out of the worst of it, and we were doing okay. I'd like to tell you the story of a 3,000-mile canoe trip. Hello everybody, my name's Geoff Carroll, and I'd like to tell you the story of a 3,000-mile canoe trip I took back in 1976 with good friends down through some amazing country in Canada and Alaska.
Okay, good evening. Welcome to a Saturday Talk. My name is Nock Acker. Today we have Geoff Carroll speaking about a canoe trip he took back in 1976. He's got a lot of good pictures to show us, bring back some good memories. Thank you, Geoff.
Thanks a lot for coming. These are generally kind of science talks, and I've given a few of those in my day, but this one is more just kind of a tourist trip, and it's a trip I kind of personally I gave it to myself as a graduation present. Started kind of down the middle of Canada, a little bit north of Edmonton. Pretty wide swath of Canada, the Athabasca River, the Slave River, the Mackenzie River. We sailed around the Great Slave Lake. Down the Mackenzie River, we got up in the Mackenzie River Delta. Then we started upstream, went up the Peel River, the Rat River up and over the mountains, got into the Yukon drainage, and finished off in October. Turned out as a very good year for me. Graduated from college that year. It was also the first year that we got to camp out on the ice up here, and the first year of doing the ice-based bowhead whale census. So we were camped out up here for 2 months. So basically I got to camp from mid-April on to October, so pretty good chunk of the year. This guy John Smith Heisler, call him Smith. He was kind of my childhood companion. We both grew up in Wyoming. He lived on a place. Oh, he's a Miss Trout. He's so short. But anyway, back to Smith. He was kind of childhood companions. We grew up together. We kind of came up to Alaska together, and so we still kind of lifelong friends. I skipped Carol Gravison and down in Penelope Mead. And when we got there, we realized that Dan had brought a dog and an extra lady, much to our surprise. So anyway, we hustled around and bought another boat so we'd have room for everybody. And okay, so there we're on the river by June 17th, and this is starting out on the Athabasca River. I think we had some little floating ducks and everything come along back there. Okay, so we kind of did this, kind of divide this river, this trip up into segments. And kind of this first stretch here from, it's called Athabasca Landing was the town that we started in, and up near to the Great Slave Lake. Took us about a month, and we just kind of took off on this thing and didn't really know everything about what we were getting into, but it turns out that there's really some tremendous rapids along the Athabasca River. And kind of the main emphasis of the first part of the trip was trying to stay out of the worst of it. And we had canoes, so you're not the most able to run the biggest whitewater, but we were doing okay. Sometimes we had the good sense to kind of line them down through around some of the worst of it. Okay, but we also did get into some pretty amazing whitewater. We had to try real hard to do this. We did line the canoes clear down around past the island and past the worst of these rapids, but then we were looking at it and it just looked like a lot of fun, so we carried the canoes back up and ferried them across the island and then ran down through this last stretch of the Grand Rapids of the Athabasca. It was pretty kind of wild-eyed on a wild ride there. And can't quite see real well, but there's actually, Dan and I got down through the rapids just fine. And then Smith wanted to go through too, so Dan and Smith got back up there, and they got about halfway through, and this is a canoe in the process of tipping over. Yeah. So anyway, we managed to wrap the canoe around a rock and destroy the thing. So a week into the trip, we'd already ruined one of our brand new canoes, and we had 7 people and only 2 boats, so we needed some more carrying capacity. But fortunately, because of the rapids and everything, there was a giant pile of driftwood there, so we set right out to building this raft. And we found rope, found some old lumber with nails in it and everything. And I don't know, old Smith was always kind of our master builder. He got right on it, and anyway, we built this pretty skookum raft. So it was had these big sweep oars on it. You could steer it back and forth in the river, but you couldn't really propel yourself down the river. So we were kind of, oh God, this is going to be awful. This thing's going to be so slow. It's going to be miles behind the canoes because be paddling right along with the canoes and everything. But anyway, it turned out that thing was more fun than you could imagine, because you get out there and it was really heavy. It took all of us to even shove that thing into the river on rollers. And it was pretty buoyant, and it was just steady as a rock. It would go through anything, and that was good because you couldn't steer around anything anyway. We were going right down through the middle of the rapids with that raft. In fact, people in the canoes, they tip over every once in a while, and also kind of have to get out and scout the rapids, whereas the raft, man, it was couldn't do any of that, so you were just roared down, but it would go through anything. I mean, we went off 6-foot waterfalls, and it was just a lot of fun. I mean, after the first day, it was pretty serious competition to see who got to ride on the raft. And set up rules and take turns, we had so much fun with the raft, it's almost worth losing the canoe. So we got to Fort McMurray was the next town down. It took us 5 days from the rapids to get to Fort McMurray, and so we were able to, the first place we could hustle around and buy another canoe. And the type of canoes we had, the original ones were all 18-foot aluminum Grumman canoes, and they were just bomb-proof. I mean, they were kind of top of the line in those days. And we looked all over town. We finally found this old Lund canoe that wasn't quite up to snuff with the other ones, but it was okay. You can get down the river. So anyway, and we're ready to push off down the river, sail a little bit. Again, old Smith was kind of our master builder, and he had insisted that we bring these kits along so that we could mount the masts in the canoes. And he just come back from a long sailing trip. He was pretty up on sailboats at that point. Again, we kind of hated to leave our good old raft, but it was kind of necessary. We were really all right. So we found various ways to transport ourselves and the dog and everything down the river. Penelope decided we were kind of a bunch of lunatics at that stage, and she bailed out of the trip at that point. So now we're down to 6. Then we moved on down out of the Athabasca River and got into the Slave River, and then we got to the Grand Rapids of the Slave River, which were just incredible. And so I don't know, we wanted to kind of do this as a non-mechanized trip and everything. it was an old trade route to go down the rivers and back to Hudson's Bay Company days and everything. So they had a road going out and around those rapids forever. And there were two. There was a little town at each end of it actually. And so anyway, we showed up there. You know, we were kind of thinking, well, gosh, I don't know, we kind of wind our way down through there and all that. And then we, the Mounties pulled up and they had a truck and they threw everything on the back of their truck. I guess they probably had enough people go through there, try to go through there that they had to rescue. They didn't want to mess with it, so they just got us right around Rapid. But anyway, we got around, so we walked back up and looked them over, and they're quite a sight. But one thing that's kind of interesting is there was quite a pelican population there. I just didn't realize that there were how many pelicans that far north and that far inland. But anyway, they seemed to hang around those rapids. I don't know, what the deal was. A lot of fish would get stunned in the rapids, or why that was a particularly productive area. But the pelicans seemed to like it. Well, we were still kind of lower Slave River. We got into there was pretty heavy duty forest fires in the area, so things got a bit smoky and turned sun red. And it was pretty, but the other thing that was kind of interesting is that there were planes that would land in the river there with these big scoops in the bottom, and they would scoop up river water and then go drop it on the forest fires. That was kind of fun to watch. Kind of being cautious at that time. We were just kind of working our way down through it. And there was an easy way on the side of the rapid, we take that. Okay, so that was kind of the end of the rapid section. Then we kind of move on to the next segment of the trip. This is primarily we were sailing on this part, and we got up, finished off the last little bit of the Slave River, sailed around the Great Slave Lake, and then most of the way down the Mackenzie River. And that segment was about 1,520 miles. And that first segment took about a month, and this one took about a month as well. Okay, so Smith had been thinking, going through all those rapids, we kind of had that first sailboat. It was kind of funky with 3 masts, one in each boat and everything, and he was thinking come up with a little more sophisticated system. So anyway, we pulled over and started rigging up for a new sailboat. Took a lot of lines, you get all those sails up and everything. So anyway, came up with this one. So now we got a square sail and a couple of those triangular sails. Anyway, some standard looking sails. Our first steering system was a little crude, basically had rudders on outside of each boat and kind of pull them back and forth. But then we came up with a little more sophisticated system there that worked a lot better. So you could just kind of sit there and easily steer your way down the river. All right, now okay. Then we had another square sail and a jib, and boy, we were a pretty sophisticated craft by that time. We had, I think, 400 square feet of sail up at a time. We hit a tailwind and a good current, and I think our best day was 200 miles going down the Mackenzie River. So we were kind of smoking at that time. Okay, we were going along one day, didn't have much wind, we were just kind of drifting along, and all of a sudden this helicopter flew over and circled back around, and he decided to hover along behind us and blow us down the river. We're kind of all ready to blow our sails off or knock the mast over or something. Anyway, the Mackenzie River, I kind of pictured that as a big old muddy river with muddy banks and all that, but man, it was really pretty clear, and the fishing was just fantastic. And starting, you would kind of worked into it gradually, but by halfway through the trip, we were basically living just about completely off the land. We were fishing and berries and greens and harvesting grouse or ptarmigan or whatever we could come up with, and we're making a pretty good living just what we can hunt. And again, I kind of pictured that Mackenzie country as kind of big muddy flat river, but it's just really, just beautiful rock formations and everything all along the way. Let's see, there were, villages along the way. That one was called Fort Good Hope. And that church up there, an amazing thing to walk into. All kinds of crucifix paintings and stuff like that. But anyway, that's Fort Good Hope. And ramparts, along the way, nice big rock formations and good views all along the river. And this is a cool old guy. His name was Isidore Thomas, and he was as a tracker for the Mounties, started back in 1922. And he'd kind of been their main tracker when they were trying to track down Albert Johnson, the mad trapper of the Rat River. The blue sails were interesting because whenever we had the blue sails up, they would attract bugs, and they had these bugs. They called them bulldogs, and I don't know, it looked a lot like what I would have called horseflies. But anyway, these big old nasty biting bugs that take a chunk out of your arm or whatever. Whenever we'd have the blue sails up, it would just attract bugs like crazy. So that's a little bit of a downside of the sails. But I thought it was probably kind of comical, having this boat full of kind of hippie-looking people as a boat just with a cloud of flies that followed them. All right, so more Mackenzie River scenery. A few more towns along the way. We were getting, most of our food from the river and things at that point, but we didn't mind stopping in one of these towns to go and see if we could find some ice cream. We were always after ice cream. Just lots of pretty spots. We take time to stop every once in a while, go for good hikes and things like that. And this was a place called Arctic Red River. Well, most of the excursions was really good. Most towns were real pleasant. Some weren't so good. So anyway, we were sailors, but we did get becalmed every once in a while. We'd have to kind of pick up the paddles and off down, paddle our way down the river. Yeah, we got caught in a couple storms. We got some big waves coming in. This one we were kind of storm bound for 2 days. Got most of our gear stuff out of the boats, but the boats were just completely full of sludge. We even kind of ran aground every once in a while, right out in the middle of the river. There'd be gravel bars, sandbars. Then you had to deal with a really surly crew. That's probably they had been raining all day or something. This is kind of interesting. We kept looking down the river and saw this funny line in the river. What the heck is that? So we're going up on it, and it seemed worthwhile. I took a picture of it. And anyway, when we hit the line, what it was a 50-mile-an-hour wind coming up the river, and it just tipped our mast right off, right after the strong wind ripped our sail off. We had to stop and kind of rebuild things. One thing that was really nice, this was a long trip, and we have not a heck of a lot to do on the boat during the course of the day sometimes. But the other good thing was like we had a radio reader thing going. We just one person would sit there and read a good book aloud. We got through Huckleberry Finn and Wind in the Willows, and this particular book that Keisha was reading was called The Frontiersman, and that was a great one. But anyway, so we got through the books that way. But in spite of all those other things, I showed you running aground and getting becalmed and everything else. Things were right. We were quite the sailing rig. So. But, things have to come to an end, so we're getting up close now to the Mackenzie River Delta and the mouth of the Peel River. So we ran up into the mouth with the sailboat and pulled it up on the side, and then we kind of sadly had to take it apart, turn it back into individual canoes. That was nice. Kids from town came out and helped us out. Okay, so now we start into the third segment of the trip, which is, this is Mackenzie River, starting that spread out and become a delta. And this is the Peel River comes in here. So we went up Peel River to Fort McPherson, and then back down, got into the Rat River, and up over the mountains. But anyway, now we're individual paddlers again. And it felt real nice actually. Nice to spread out again. We got to the Peel River. This doesn't show it much, and unfortunately I didn't get a good picture of it, but it was a raging, flooding torrent. Here we are going up the Peel River, which is at high flood. This is kind of a page from my diary, and it's kind of illustrating the strategy for paddling up a fast-moving, fairly large river. And so basically, what you're trying to do all the time is stay in the slowest water. So, I mean, as you know, when you're going downstream, you like to take that cut bank side because the water's always flowing faster over there. Do everything just the opposite when you're going upstream. If you stay on that inside, the water is really much, much slower. In fact, there are places where the water comes around the corner and there's a back eddy, and you can actually get a little bit of upstream shove from the back eddy if you're right place at the right time. But of course, pretty soon you run out of that good inside corner slow water, and then you have to ferry across. And you kind of put your bow at a 45-degree, or angle your canoe at a 45-degree angle and paddle upstream, and then the water just pushes you across the other side. Then off you go. Use the back eddies again, get around slower water, and then you're over here and do it all again. Of course, every time you ferry across, you lose ground and everything. So I mean, it was really a lot of fun. I think up here I was saying that the river was just chocolate brown. It was almost like paddling across a cup of hot chocolate, especially because there was big pieces of foam, and whenever the water churns up the foam, there'd be these big chunks of foam that looked like marshmallows. Okay, so we went to Fort McPherson, and let's see, two ladies flew out. Joan and Charlotte flew out from there. They had something they needed to get back for, or else didn't want to go up and over the mountains. I can't remember which. But anyway, we talked to a lot of people while we were in town, and fortunately, you talk to the local people and learn the lay of the land. I mean, our next step was to go back down the Peel River and get on the Rat River and head up stream. And so anyway, they pointed out that the stream that was on the map labeled as the Rat River really wasn't. If you went up that one, you were going to end up at mud flats, so just kind of endless mud flats. We needed to go up the Husky Channel. Okay, and then they advised us to stop in and see John Kay. He had a cabin up there. He was kind of a subsistence hunter that lived on the land up there, he and his family. But when we got there, John was in the hospital with kidney stones. And his wife Carolyn was there, and along with their daughter Rose and their grandson Delbert. They invited us for tea and bannock, and so we ended up staying there for, I think 3 or 4 days actually. And actually with John being in the hospital, we could actually be pretty useful. We chopped lots of firewood, and got fish out of their nets and hauled water and all that sort of thing. So it was kind of a good mutual deal. But yeah, just wonderful people, the smokehouse there. They had this great team of dogs. They were just these big, strong, working dogs, and they used them when they wanted to run into Fort McPherson, or they used them on their trap lines, and used them to haul caribou meat when they're hunting. Anyway, I was real impressed with their dog team. Okay, so they got us pointed in the right direction, and we're still on the Husky Channel, but they told us that the mouth of the river, the Rat River, there's a cabin there, and there's a mountain, and it comes after a long straightaway. Anyway, everything added up. And the other plus was there were 3 muskrats swimming around the mouth of it, so it looked like a Rat River to us. So. And now we're on our kind of our long upstream journey. So, Smith and I had brought along wetsuits for this part of the trip, and we were very glad we did. Dan and Ed kind of tried to come up with other schemes, so we could put tape around the tops of their roofs and the rain pants and stuff, but they were mostly numb from the waist down for about the next 3 weeks. So it was pretty variable, you know. I mean, it was kind of flooding as well. It was just kind of a moist year, and so there was a lot of water flowing out and a lot of rapids that we had to kind of battle the canoes up through. But the bad part was that we were really counting on catching fish through there, and this doesn't look very floody right here. This is kind of on a side slough, but we just couldn't catch fish. I don't know. We had kind of a master fisherman and everything, but even Ed couldn't catch any fish. So we had a bag of oatmeal and lots of berries to eat, but we were kind of on very lean rations for this part. A lot of beautiful country that way up there. We didn't spend a lot of time hiking around just because we were working so hard getting the boats up the river. We didn't have a lot of energy or time to get up on the mountaintops, but did what we could. All right, so anyway, getting our exercise every day. And Keisha could never figure out that if she just walked along one side of the river, life would be pretty easy, but every time we switched sides, she'd swim across the river. She did a lot of swimming back and forth. All right, and scenery pictures next. Yeah, and there were stretches too where we just paddling upstream at a pretty good rate. It wasn't all rapid, but and there are places like this that were just a pain in the butt. Just really hard to get around. And a lot of different styles from pulling canoes up on streams. Yeah, that was one of the less successful methods. I mean, we really were pretty low on food. I mean, we were kind of actually sort of starving at this point. And you know, kind of getting a little low on energy and everything. But this, in addition, it had gotten bitten by a spider, so it got a little swollen, so he was feeling even worse than the rest of us. But Keisha found a good place to sleep. But as our stomachs got smaller and smaller, fortunately, we ran into the Porcupine caribou here. So we didn't even have to think about that. We popped the caribou with the first opportunity, and then life was good again. So we smoked it all up. That was the best preservation method we had. We were able to take along what we couldn't eat immediately. Going upstream is way trickier than going downstream. When you're trying to make sure that you're staying on the right stream. I mean, you know, going downstream, everything comes together. You can't really go wrong. You just keep ending up in a bigger and bigger stream until you get to the ocean or whatever. But going upstream, you know, if you get on the wrong channel, it will take you someplace you really don't want to go. And you know, we get to places like this, and I know one time we came to a total disagreement. Dan and I were sure that, you know, take that Clearwater stream to the right. Ed and Smith said, no, I got to go the other way. And so we just said, all right, we're going this way, you go that way. And so we took off different directions, and Dan and I had to admit after a couple hours that we were kind of angling off the wrong direction, so we had to turn around and paddle back down there real quick, catch up. Okay, more scenery. So anyway, the stream's getting smaller and smaller. Just towards the end there was just kind of one series of one little lake after another, and you get to the other end of the lake, there'd be another little inlet stream, then go up that. Finally we got to a little lake, and there was no inlet stream. And so we climbed a little hill and looked over, and there was some place. So we had to load everything up and portage everything over and carry the canoes, but for that entire 3,000-mile trip, there was a 1/4 mile portage, where you had to portage your boat. Pretty amazing route. Okay, so that gets us into the next thing. Well, that's the downstream segment. We got so used to going upstream that it was kind of a huge relief to actually get to go downstream. So this is about 712 miles from summit of the Richardson Mountains on down Little Bell River, Porcupine River, and Yukon River. All right, so there we are back at Summit Lake. So again, kind of started out sort of small, but again, it's such a joy to be paddling downstream that, you know, it's quite a thrill. Yep, I think this is moving from the Little Bell River into the Bell River. Lots of nice rock formations. It's really pretty country, and fishing was good again. We were back into lots of grouse and ptarmigan, and hunting was good, and everything was good. And there were lots of caribou coming through. Providing a lot of entertainment. They'd be swimming across the river. And okay, so we're going down the Porcupine River at this point, and saw this cabin up on the bank. So we parked our boats and climbed up there and knocked on the door, looked in, and there wasn't anybody there. We were really looking forward to visiting with somebody. And started back down the river, and we heard this voice from way down the river. It was, you know, open the door, start a fire, put on the tea, you know. And so we looked down there, and here comes this guy up the river. Kind of looked like he was moving kind of slow. We weren't quite sure why. Wasn't paddling a little faster, but he came up there. And we'd done as he told. We had tea all ready for him by the time we got there. Anyway, this is the guy named Kenny Yukon. And he's one of the most amazing humans I ever met. He's living out there by himself. He'd been paralyzed as a young man by polio in one side of his body, so he kind of, you know, had one good leg and kind of hunched along on the other, and only one usable arm. So he basically had to do everything one-handed. And he built this cabin, he did all this fishing, he did all this hunting, you know, and basically, you know, the master of doing it with one hand. I don't know what. So that was his fish dry and rack. Anyway, Kenny decided to hitchhike with us on into Old Crow. And, you know, just nice to be in the middle of a caribou migration. There was just caribou all along the way once we got up into the McDougal Pass and Rat River area. Okay, so this is the border station between Canada and the U.S. So I guess at one point they actually it was manned. You know, maybe back in the day there were a fair number of people traveling through there, the old prospectors and stuff. But they apparently one time thought it was worth checking people's passports when they went through there, but not anymore. Yeah, just more rock pinnacles all along the way. Nice scenery. More caribou. Every variety, big bulls, cows, calves. Everybody coming through. More rocks. Okay, then we got to the Yukon River. Take a quick bath in the Yukon as soon as we got there. It was one of the inns in Fort Yukon, the Sourdough Inn. And the cool thing about Fort Yukon is that, I mean, I'm in Carroll, and about half the town of Fort Yukon is named Carroll. I had an immediate kinship thing there, and, you know, we exchanged notes and figured that we probably actually did have some ancestors in common and everything. And you know, Tommy Carroll had a dog team, and there was this pen full of puppies and that. And anyway, somehow I ended up with a dog named Critter. Okay, then and Smith and Ed had to bail out at that point. They had to get back to Fairbanks for school. So this last stretch down the Yukon was Dan Soley and I. So we each had a canoe, and on the home stretch of the trip at this point. And Yukon has a pretty good current, you know, so you could really get away with taking a good nap every once in a while as long as you had a good lookout. So, you know, and at that point we were in no hurry. I mean, you know, we loved it. That's just what we did. We got to be nomads, and we got to live off the land, you know. It was just kind of one of the greatest parts of my life, I think. I guess that's how I can take a picture of myself. A picture of my shadow. You know, dog Keisha actually had, started out, Dad showed up with this crazy young, totally undisciplined dog, and she was kind of a pain in the neck, but as the trip went on, she really matured. Anyway, she actually went on after we got done with the trip. Dan passed her on to a musher, and she actually became pretty top-notch sled dog in her day. So, as you can see, it was getting a little wintry by that time, and so unfortunately, I was going to kind of force the end of the trip. It was the river was starting to get out, and I'd be a little thin layer of ice on it in the morning. Lots of beautiful sunrises and sunsets along the way more. But anyway, that's where we ended up, is at the Hall Road Bridge. We ended our trip there, and anyway, that's kind of the end of the trip. We ended up with a sunset. Tell you the story of a 3,000-mile canoe trip I took back in 1976. With good friends down through some amazing country. We were doing okay.